Greetings, everyone. It's that time. After a week of me putting out a bunch of random rants, it's finally time for Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. What can I say about this film? Easiest thing I could say is, well, it's the best of the prequels. I mean, considering we're talking about Attack of the Clones, which had that oh so wonderful romance. But then you had Phantom Menace, which was just 101 on how not to use characters and how not to focus too heavily on what you want to have kids buy. Merchandising's fine, but make sure it's not going to piss off the adults, because the adults are the ones with the money. Something nowadays should learn. But anyway, so we're on to Revenge of the Sith. No, just an interesting movie. Just an interesting movie. I mean, let's go back to how I usually do these movies. So we start off with a crawl. We start off with the big thing about the bottom, and we see two fighters going into a freaking war zone above Coruscant, whatever you want to say. So blah blah blah. Anakin and Obi-Wan are trying to find General Grievous's flagship. They find it eventually after losing a bunch of clone fighters and stuff. If there's one thing I will say, it's there is plenty of chaos, but I kind of wish there was more ships, of the larger ships, maybe being blown up on both sides, not just the droid army. You know? So anyway, so we do that. We go through that. Then there's the fighting on the ship. First point, they find the Chancellor, and then they meet. We are reintroduced to Count Dooku. Alright, this is where I begin things that I would change personally. So they do their sword fight. Dooku knocks out Obi-Wan, and then Anakin gets the upper hand by cutting off both of his. Both of Dooku's, and then beheads him. Okay, we'll stop there. Here's what I would do if this was me. Number one, because you did nothing with Dooku. Dooku is like, he just shows up in Attack of the Clones, and then he just dies in this one. That's it. I don't even think Dooku's in 5 minutes of this. He fights Yoda. He fights Kenobi and Anakin. And so here's what I would do. I would let Dooku live. In all seriousness, this is how I would do it. Myself, I would say, Dooku is on his knees. He's beaten. His hands are still cut off. But when Anakin starts to stall, Dooku, now by this time, because we all know Dooku knows who Palpatine is. That Palpatine's his master. So he finally goes full Sith, which is he hasn't gone full Sith. He never goes full Sith even in the cartoons. So he goes full Sith, and finally says, you know what? You're replacing me with this a-hole? Screw you. Kind of does a massive force push to shove Anakin into the back, buggers off, gets in and escapes. Okay, but of course, that's not what happened, and Anakin gets ahead of the game. So Anakin saves Palpatine, then carries Obi-Wan down a elevator shaft, blah blah blah. They end up getting captured by Grievous. I'll get into what I would do differently with Grievous later. So, this is another one of those, we're introduced to Grievous, nothing really happens. Anakin and Obi-Wan destroy all the pilot droids flying the damn ship. They tear up the droids flying the fucking ship. Not the smartest thing. Not the smartest thing I would have done. So, anyway. So we go past that. They crash land, and then we find out they get back to Coruscant, Gant, and we find out that Padme's pregnant because so Padme's pregnant, Anakin's happy, and honestly, the relationship between the two works better, but that's like saying my shit smells better because I drank an entire gallon of lavender juice. It's not as much of a focal point in this, which sadly, I mean, it's sad it didn't. If it would have worked in Attack of the Clones, it wouldn't be, but I wouldn't have this opinion. But hey, happens. So go from there. You might notice I'm just kind of breezing through this because there's really not much I can say about this movie. So we go from that. Oh, God. Grievous goes back to Utapau and begins talking with Palps, now in his Darth Sidious disguise. And he's lamenting the death of Count Dooku because, you know, it's a major blow. Now, I get why they did it. I get why they didn't just capture Palpatine and then go, because this was all a plan to get Anakin onto the ship to get him to eliminate Dooku, thus allowing Palpatine to... So, I mean, did it in a... If it wasn't for that, did it make sense for them to stick around? Hell no. Hell no. But, so, Grievous is... And Palpatine basically says, yeah, don't worry, I'm getting a new guy. I'm getting a younger, more powerful guy. Again, this is another scene that would basically have gotten changed if Dooku had lived, where Dooku is freaking furious on Utapau, probably using the Force to tear stuff up, probably has new hands, and saying he's going to freaking kill Skywalker. He still, you know what, he could have contacted Sidious, basically saying, you know what, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. I know what you tried to do. And after this war, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish this war. And after this war is finished, I'm coming after you. So, there you are. Sidious will make, in my version, Sidious will make it all the way to, he'll be the one who takes, and I'll get into again, I'll be eventually getting into Grievous's part, what different part he would play in this, because he'd be totally with, in my way of doing it, he'd be completely with Dooku on wanting to kill Palpatine and Darth Sidious after this war's over. So they're not changing the plan, they're just going to flat out, but the only thing that's going to change is they're going to target Sidious immediately. So that happens. The meeting with Palpatine and Anakin happens. The meeting with the Jedi wanting Anakin to spy on that. Everything else is pretty much going on and on and on. So so we basically everything keeps going because there's I feel like there's a good pacing to this film. Like I said, it's the best one of the three. Not saying much, sadly, but I mean, I would definitely put it. I'd put it out. I would, of the, let's see, 8 current ones, 9 because I do count Rogue One. I would put this one actually as my, like, I would dare say it's like 5th or 4th on my list. Yeah. But anyway. So yeah, so we get on and on and on. So the Palpatine has them send everybody to Mustafar and it's like, okay, I need you to send all the, Dooku basically knows what's going on. He's like, look, I'm taking these people, I'll take these people to Mustafar. Well, you know what, he doesn't say nothing to Palpatine. Him and Grievous, he tells Grievous, I'll take the people to Mustafar. You stay here and ready the troops for the final attack. After this is over, and he basically the plot basically gets changed. Actually, I'll probably talk about it after I'm done with the rundown. So, of course, then the Utapau thing. Anakin's having serious second thoughts on the Jedi's overall, how they do things. And it all comes to a head when Obi-Wan finally meets up with Grievous and kills him. I really want to say what my thing with how I would have made that a little bit more of a personal thing with Grievous, and a couple of my friends actually, after I've talked with them about it, really like the idea, but hold on.